Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to my channel, Data-Driven Decisions. In this video, I'm going to show you just how I write code in SQL for data enrichment and the steps I take. And we'll focus on, one of the objectives that I had for my personal finances, and that was taking the old Mint transaction table, which has years and years of transaction history, and combining it with the new tool that I use, Personal Capital, transforming that into one transaction fact table. Let me share my screen. So, the objective is getting to something like this. This is a very rich transaction table in Power BI. It has data all the way back to 2018, and I have it color coordinated just based on all the attribute values, and I just like that. And it's great for drilling in. Um, we could look at it by the spend category, say home, and now that's just all the home transactions. So this is kind of what I'm trying to get at, but it's not just spend. There's also more to it. We go to movement. There's a lot more in this table other than spend. Here is really the full transaction table. It has not just spend, but transfers, credit card payments, investment related stuff. Um, that's what we're trying to get at. And when we go to BigQuery, the work starts right here with Mint transactions 1, and I get to that final table, and I just keep it as Mint transactions 3. And I try to do the same work for personal capital, and it took me a lot more tables to do that, and I got all the way to a 6th intermediate table. And then finally, I just stack the two tables together once I have them in the exact same shape. And then lastly, this is one huge table with a lot of attributes. I turn it into a star schema data model where it's got a fact table and category dim tables. Well, this is the fact table, but it just has dim tables now. I didn't shrink the fact table. There's no shame in having attribute values both in the fact table and in the dim table and using them both. As a matter of fact, sometimes it comes in handy to have two of the same attribute value for, double filtering or just double use of the same value. It does come in handy for BI. But that's the objective of what we're trying to do, and I'll go to the first part of the code and show you how it works. So, the input table for Mint, this is just a table that never needs to be updated anymore, and it never needs to be moved. It's originated in cloud storage, but this is what the table looks like. It's very long. It's got 11,000 rows, but not too many fields. Just the date, the amount, transaction type, category, account name, and description. So I need to enrich this table. And the first step I do is do renaming um, of fields or creating new dimension fields. So there is an original account name, but I wanted to give better names for the account name. So that's what I do. And then comes this company name. I define everything for the company name. And then I define everything by account type. And this code is very redundant. And I don't write this code out, line by line. I, use an Excel technique to write this code for me. Let me show you. I'll just, build an aggregate query. need it from here. We run this query. This will give us all the unique account names, and we just save it as a local file, open it up, and we got a shell to write data, so to make code. So for instance, we're trying to define this new account name. So make a new field called account name, and um, I don't know what I'm naming these, but we're saying Wells. Just giving them new names. And the same goes for like company. Give it the company name. And you just have this write the code for you. So what we're trying to do is, when account name equals that. So I can just copy this, and I say equals when account name equals and then we just concatenate equals that, and you just, let's just get it to fill something. Get this to fill. They're not, those aren't the right values, but you just copy it for every field, and then you just paste it in the code. So it's a really easy way to write code, SQL code. I do that all the time. So this code looks redundant, but it didn't take me a while to build it. It's pretty easy to build, and it's explicit. It's got everything, so it's easy to modify, and it's simple code. It's not loaded with macros and all this crazy stuff. So it's easy to modify, easy to remember. And here's a category. I put everything into a bucket, a main category. Here, there's more categories. So mint spend category. So define everything into categories. So just a lot of, table derived code in this. Here's where I'm defining the company. This is a very long query. And when we open it up, it's much more enriched. Now it's got all the attribute values in it, and that's beautiful. What we need next is sort orders for all the attribute values, and I'm pretty sure that's what I do next. I got a lot of code up here that helps me, if ever is the problem with the code, when new attributes come into the system, that always creates bugs. I have code written that will help me find that stuff. So yeah, this is where I put sort orders, where every attribute value now has a number, a sort number. So that's how it's sorted, and I just do that for every single attribute value. And then I add all the date information to it as well. So this is a very big table now. Has a lot of fields and a lot of rows, but it's not that big of a table, so it's okay to do stuff like this to create that one massive table with everything. That's kind of what I'm going for. The one massive table that has everything. So now I got all the attribute values, I got all the sort orders, I got all the metrics, I got all the date fields. So it's a really big table. And let's see what I do next. I just put the fields in order. That's what I do next. And that's the final mint transaction table. We open it. It's in the order I want. This is unique by trans ID. I created this to make a primary key, date, and then the account number, account name, category name. So, it's in the order I want. And now I got it for Mint. I got to build this exact same table for personal capital. And that's what I do next. So we bring in the personal capital table. We'll open that right here. Oh, here it is, the Python one. So it comes similar to what was the original Mint table. Close to the same fields. Tags is a new one, but it really has the same type of fields as as Mint, but it's got different categories. These categories are very different than Mint, and we gotta bring them together, coalesce the different categories, and create the same categories across the two, tables, Mint and personal capital. So first step is just some simple cleaning of the fields. That's that. And then I add new rows to the data. If there's missing transactions, sometimes there is. One of my credit cards, the Apple Card, isn't synced correctly in personal capital, so I have to add every transaction manually. But here's all the manual transactions. That's step one. I also delete a few transactions for like splitting. It doesn't work in personal capital, so you got to do it manually. And, and I do it right here. Next step is define the account name. Same kind of philosophy as Mint. A company name, account type name. So these are all the same categories in Mint that I'm also just defining in personal capital. Main category. Here's where I'm defining the most granular category, and I got to do text mining. So I don't have as many categories in personal capital as I did in Mint. So I'm trying to create more, and some categories need to be parsed out into multiple categories, and that's what I do. I have some wacky text mining going on um, to get that job done. Um, Next, I define the more broader categories. Now that I got the most granular category defined, I use that category to define all the other categories. That made it easy. This is code that I just generated in Excel. It's not code that I handwritten. And when we get to this table, we're almost there. We're pretty rich. We got all the attribute values. We don't have all the date stuff, but we're getting really close. Next, we add the store name. So more text mining. This is a lot of text mining to get to the store name. And then now we're just adding the sort orders to everything. There's the date stuff. There's the order of the fields. And then here's the Mint transactions, or actually just both transactions combined. This is the query that does it. It's a simple union of the two tables. They're the exact same shape, so that's all you need. But you need it exactly the same. You need the fields in the exact same order. You need the formats to be the exact same everything. I just did some more logic to it, but this is the combined transaction table. It just has the name Mint transaction because that was the final name, and I don't believe in changing table names. It just creates a pain in the butt, and things change, but some things you just don't need to change. So this table is combined Mint and personal capital. It's really long and it's very wide. It's got tons of fields. This is basically like an everything fact table. Um, and then after I get to this everything table, then I turn it into a star schema where I create dim tables. I created an account dim table, just simple aggregate table off of that big fact table, the category dim table. Let's just open this. This is what a dim table looks like. So the most granular dim is account name, and it's unique by that. And then it's got all the other ones that are of lower level. And now all this table will join to the fact table, and you can grab this information now from this table, and it's more efficient that way because star schema is more efficient than an everything table. I do the same for category. I even create a new category that I really like called spend bucket in this table. Why do it in two places when you can do it in one? I didn't want to do it in mint and personal capital, um, so yeah, this is the the category dim table. It's got 175 different rows, 175 different categories, and they're all got a number, and here's all the lower level stuff. And this is a rather big table because there's a lot of spend hierarchies. And then lastly is the date table. And I do some things in that table too, such as creating these weeks ago buckets, months ago, years ago buckets. Those are really nice for BI. But here's just a date table, and I brought all that in to Power BI, and if we go to the data model, you'll see it right here. This is that data model of everything. Here's that big giant fact table. Here are the three dim tables, and this does wonders for me. The dashboards that are connected to it. This is the movement dashboard. I love this one. Um, just lets me know where all my money's going, how it's moving. Um, the transaction spend. This looks at this is built off of that transaction table, and this looks at just all the spend. So if we just look at 2024, here's all the stores I've bought from, and here's my spending by month, by week, by quarter, by year. And here's all the spend categories where I'm spending all my money. So this is just a great data exploration tool. And then here's a table showing all the transactions. That's really nice. So there's a lot that is built off of the transaction table, and it's my most granular table, and anybody can build that. Everybody can have a personal capital, and that's always a great tool because it takes, I have like 40 different accounts, and wouldn't it be a pain in the butt to have to go to each website to get the transaction table? Personal capital links to all your accounts, and then it builds that transaction table for you, all 40 accounts combined into one table. So it does that really difficult ETL work for you, and that's why you really need to use personal capital to start off. But then you want to take that data, export it to a CSV, and put it into your own environment and enrich it. And that's kind of what I did, and it's worked out really well. So that's that for some SQL training. I hope you like that. I hope you learn some things. Use Excel to write your code, and go for an everything table. Try to build a table that has everything in it, and then turn it into a star schema. Stacking tables is difficult. You always got to get them exactly the same in order for them to stack appropriately. So I hope you like this video. Have a good one. Bye.